Hey everyone, this is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of Sub That Tutorials and More. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on any of our videos, and check the video description for a link to the Sub That US mobile learning library app where you can find all of our tutorials for free, neatly organized, and subscribe for exclusive content and communities. Today I'm going to be showing you how to sublimate a glass clock. If you guys haven't seen me do like cutting boards or anything, then let me tell you just another time that glass sublimation items are literally my favorite. They look amazing every single time and I never can get over it no matter how many times I do something. And that includes drinkware items as well, but cutting boards and something like glass clocks are absolutely my favorite. It's been a couple of years since I had done this tutorial, and since it wasn't available on our YouTube channel, I wanted to do a re-record. I purchased these 12-inch sublimation clocks from WeSubin. I have linked all of the items that we're using today in the video description for your convenience. I think that this item is so perfect for photos, and that's of course a popular choice for them. We see them frequently printed with just one photo fully across, which is totally fine. But I believe that the value is increased, or the perceived value for your customer, by doing something along these lines where you have 12 separate photos. Not only can you use this to commemorate something like an interest in dance or something for athletes, but you can also use it with ideas like coffee or birds. You know someone who is a bird lover or a coffee lover, it's a great idea to do a fun design with the different options. Now, don't worry, the template for this particular design is available for free on my website. I have linked that as well. And if you are a subscriber to the Sub That US mobile learning app, I did a full tutorial on how to create a segmented clock design. And you can tailor this for so many other different shapes. You could do hearts, stars, circles, horseshoes and balloons, you know, like the cereal. That might have been lost on our overseas friends. But my point is, you can customize this however you would like, in addition to, of course, using some photos from your customers. I love ideas like this because they're easy to personalize, and that's what gives them the most value. This is a fully custom product that you can get top dollar for. The average glass photo clock sells between $40 and $60. So it's all going to be about how you target your audience. But when you focus on individuals like dance moms or football players, or any like school, college athlete, this is the kind of item that they are very much attracted to and love to spend the money on, because it's commemorative and it's beautiful quality. It's not something that's cheap and is not going to matter in a few years. This is also a great idea for anniversaries. People who are celebrating 50 years together, for example, a great way to commemorate that and commemorate those photos. Let's go ahead and double check our measurements. We'll get everything set up in Affinity Designer, and I'll show you that free template. And then we will go ahead and press this on Blue the Fusion IQ after we print our transfer with our Epson SureColor F570 Pro from Johnson's Plastics Plus. Our first step is going to be to get our measurements, just double check them. I'm pretty sure this was a 12-inch clock, but we want to measure just to be sure. I have a heat glove on because I did just use it to adjust my heat press. But if you haven't done a glass item like this before, like a cutting board or one of these clocks, they are white on the back, and this is the layer that's sublimatable. But we're going to do it opposite of how we normally do. Usually your paper is on top and the white part is on top. On this one, your white part's on the bottom and your transfer is going to be on the bottom as well, and you're not going to mirror it. Now, I love when you get a glass item, whether it's a photo panel or a clock or a cutting board, and it comes in one of these little boxes, because it makes it so easy to slide them back in and be able to send them off to your customer. You can also keep the battery pack and whatnot separate if you are shipping an item. But this has your hands and your battery pack. Everything's pretty easy and quick to screw on. And I will be showing you all of that. So let's grab our measurement and then we'll get our photo design set up in Affinity Designer. Okay, so this is a 12-inch clock, but see that it is It actually is 11 3/4, which is okay because we always want to have a little bit of a border to make sure we get a beautiful full bleed. And we are just a notch over 11 3/4 on that side. So we are going to do a 12-inch circle. I always make sure to make my designs with a little bit of an edge for this exact reason, because it's going to be usually 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch more or less than it says. So you want to have a nice full bleed. This is perfect for that. Let's pop over to Affinity Designer and get that set up. We will be working in Affinity Designer on a Windows PC today. Keep in mind that my interface is tailored for my personal preferences, and if you are using the Mac version of the software, there are some subtle differences in the interface itself. We will start by opening up a new document, and that new document should always be the page size that we intend on printing on. But before I show you that, I do want to show you that I have a free template for the photo design that we are using today. I called it the segmented clock template, and as I said, it's free on my website. That link is in the video description. Once you have downloaded the template, you can add it to your templates folder. So when you come to File and New, you will then select Templates, and you'll see folders here that you have created. So these folders are not here by default. You need to create a folder on your File Explorer, wherever you save it. I recommend a SkyDrive like OneDrive or iCloud or whatever. And you want to make a folder, call it Affinity Templates, and then open up the template section here, select this little plus sign option to add a folder, and find that folder. Then any files that you download that have the .af template extension, you can add into that folder on your File Explorer, and they will appear in Affinity Designer. So these are just all different templates that I have. Some of them are available on my website, other ones are not. Other ones are like ones that companies gave me, like this MDF phone stand was from ACC Blanks when I did the phone stand. It came with their product. So this is a great way to store your templates so that you can use them whenever you would like. I have this segmented clock one for you. So once you have it downloaded, you can select that and click Create. Now over here in your layers panel, you're going to see that you have some different sections. So we have our clock face, we have our hour mark and our minute mark, and then we have our photo segments where we can put each one of our photos. I just want to show you very quickly how to fill these. So let's say you start with your background layer. You're going to select that, and you will choose this tool, this gradient tool, or in Affinity Designer 1.0, it's the fill tool, I believe. You will select on that, and in Affinity Designer 1.0, it has the same icon that you see next to the cursor right now, just so those of you know who might be new and be using Affinity Designer 1.0. We're in 2.0. They did change that one icon. I think the rest of them are pretty much the same. They're just colorful. All right, up where it says context, you're going to make sure it's set to fill. And where it says type, you will come down and choose bitmap. This will allow you to import any digital paper or photograph. So if I choose bitmap and I come here and let's say I just want to do a glittery background, we'll choose, I don't know, let's try purple. Well, pinkish purple. You're going to select that, and this is how it will import. Make sure that if you're using digital papers, you choose something that is seamless so that you are able to scale this down and it will automatically tile around so that you get the pattern seam that you're looking for. You're going to see this option here that says extend. There is wrap, mirror, and repeat. You can use wrap or repeat on anything that is seamless. Mirror will also work on its seamless, but if it's not seamless on all four sides, that's when you would choose mirror. A lot of times things are advertised seamless, but they're only seamless on like the left and the right side or the top and the bottom side. So mirror will actually flip them so that they will line up. You'll know if it's not a seamless option and it's not lined up because you'll see lines in your background. And I think if we zoom in, yeah, we don't see them because these are seamless glitter papers. So you can import photos into anything here, and you can resize it by pulling on those handlebars like that. You can rotate it by rotating them, and you can adjust the position by moving the one that's in the center. This is going to be the same for your photo segments. So you will come into the photo segments, select whichever photo segment you want to do first. So I just selected this one. You're going to select that fill tool and once again come to bitmap and then grab a photo. We're doing Miss Olivia today. Let's do this photo. And it's going to fill that. And once again, we can resize that. We can adjust the position, whatever you would like to do. So you can fill all of these different segments how you like. And then for the hour and minute mark, if you would like to change the color of those, just grab that and change it over in your color panel. So really easy to use these templates. And if you want to learn how to make this template or something that maybe you have an idea for something similar, be sure to subscribe to the Sublimate US mobile learning library app. We have an exclusive tutorial for subscribers on this, and this idea is really versatile. You can do all kinds of shapes and ideas and so on with this. So you're going to get everything set up in your free template, or you can just use a solid circle if you just want to do a single photo for something like this. But I am using this, so I wanted to make sure to talk about it. Once you have everything filled in and set up, you're going to go to File and Export, and you're going to choose to export it as a PNG. You want to choose whole document, and when you click on export, your file explorer will open. This is going to allow you to save the PNG so that you can then bring it back in on your print page. Now I have already done this, so we're going to exit out of this and start over. You will want to open up a new document that is the size of the page you intend on printing on and the orientation of the paper as it's feeding into your printer. Making sure to do both of those things is going to save you a lot of stress and headaches and basically just user error. So I always follow this process. Now, usually when I'm printing something this size, I have been printing on 13 by 19 paper. I don't currently have any 13 by 19 paper available because I am using the 17-inch wide rolled paper with the Epson SureColor F570 Pro. So with that in mind, I am going to open up a document that is going to be landscape orientation, but for those of you who are using an EcoTank or a Workforce printer, your document should be portrait orientation. So let's start. We're going to come to File, New. I've got my rolled paper here. I'm actually going to go with 13 inches because I need to have a little bit more space for my print. DPI should be set to 300, and your color for sublimation should always be set to color format RGB/8, and your color profile should be this sRGB IEC with the numbers. This is the most current and up-to-date profile for RGB/8. However, if you are using a Mac computer, Macs are prone to printing color issues. And if you're finding that you're having that problem, test out using the Adobe RGB 1998 option to see if that resolves your issue. Also keep in mind that your document setup is not your ICC profile for your specific ink if you have that available to you. That is dictated in your printer settings, not in your document setup. So once you have everything set up, go ahead and click Create. Next, you're going to select your Place Image tool and you're going to import that graphic that you made or whatever photo that you happen to have, and you're going to click Open. When you see the downward arrow in the portal, you can either click and drag or one click to bring this in. Now, I do want to tell you that if you're just trying to do one photograph and have it fill the whole clock, simply come to your ellipse tool, click and drag, come to your transform panel, unlock the aspect ratio, set these to 12 inches by 12 inches, and go ahead and fill that with your photograph, just like I showed you before using that gradient or fill tool. This will put everything right in place as you need it. If you're importing a photo collage or a segmented clock like we have here, I'm going to lock that aspect ratio. You know that it's locked when you see the little arms coming off of it. And I'm going to come to where it says width, and I'm going to enter in 12 inches. Now we could possibly go a little bit bigger, maybe like 12.125. If you're ever unsure, simply grab your ellipse tool and stretch that out. And what we can do is size this to the measurements we got, which was 11.75. by 11.75. And you can simply come to that color panel, choose the filled circle, choose no fill, choose the open circle, and make sure it has a fill, it has black, and then come to stroke and add a little bit of stroke. And you can lay this over top of your design to give you a visual of what potentially will be cut off, and if you have room to nudge it up just a little bit more. So if I come back to my photo, lock that aspect ratio, and do 12.125, and then recenter it using my alignment tools right here and click apply, I do have enough of a bleed that that option would work. So totally my discretion if I want to go just a little bit bigger to ensure that I get full bleed without issue. And I think I'm going to. So I'm going to get rid of that ellipse layer by just removing that. And I just have my photo behind, which we have at 12.125 or 12 1/8 inch. So I'm giving myself 3/8 of an inch bigger than my clock is, just to make sure I get the nice full bleed that I'm looking for. We are now ready to send this to print by coming to File, Print, selecting our printer from the drop-down menu, and then you're going to select Properties and configure any settings that you need to. For us, we just need to make sure that we have roll paper selected from our drop-down, and this is going to be on glass, so we want to choose the rigid option. It's giving me an error because I need to adjust that on the printer screen. Not a big deal. Always make sure that your document size and output size do actually say the size that you have set everything, specifically if you're using the SureColor F570 Pro, because this seems to default to letter size, so make sure that you double check that. Now, very, very important. Wherever your printer has the More Options tab for your printer properties in this dialog box, you want to make sure to deselect Mirror Image. So when I choose the, let's see, I think it's Layout. Yes. When I select the Layout tab where it says Additional Settings and it has Mirror Image checkmarked, I want to deselect that. We don't want to mirror anything that's glass where we have the sublimation layer on the bottom, because it needs to be forward facing. So this is going to apply to glass clocks like we're doing today, and also cutting boards, and really anything else that's similar. There's like photo panels out there and whatnot, because all of them are sublimated from the bottom, so we don't want to have it mirrored. So I deselected the mirror options, come to my printer settings. High speed is all fine, all of those things. Print with high quality, fantastic. We don't need a print preview. You can have one if you want. All we have to do is select OK and then OK again, and it will send it off to print. We have our heat press, Blue the Fusion IQ, set to 400 degrees for 120 seconds with medium pressure. You're aiming for about a 5. Remember that even though your bottom platen has like a little cushion to it from that rubber mat that's on it, you still don't want to do so much pressure that you potentially crack any glass items. So let's go ahead and get it set up here. We are going to want to make sure to put down a piece of blowout paper on the bottom, because your transfer is going to be on the bottom and you don't want to risk any of that ink getting into your rubber mat, or in this case, my cover for it. Also, I don't want to forget to tell you that anytime you are printing photographs, I strongly encourage you, unless you've done a lot of photographs, got all your settings perfect, etc., I encourage you to print a small test print. This is especially important when you have photos that don't have really great lighting, which is the issue with all of these. I don't always print photos, but I do like to test them if the lighting in particular wasn't really great and I had to do some adjustments. So this is an example of that time, just to make sure that your photos and everything do look pretty good. When we're using customer photos, we can only do what we can do, right? Like, we can't control the photos that they give us, and sometimes that means that the quality is not the greatest, but I'd rather waste a 50-cent piece of fabric than a $14 clock. So let's get that out of the way, and let's set up our transfer. Now, once again, your transfer is not mirrored, so everything should be facing forward. Make sure I got you guys where you can see it. And I also want to make sure that this doesn't really matter, right? Because we'll just rotate the clock. I was thinking you need to make sure things are straight up, but it's a circle, so it doesn't really matter. But we are gonna go ahead and center this, and I'm just gonna eyeball it and make sure I've got about the same edge amount on all sides. Now you can of course choose to measure this, or you can just eyeball it like I am. I recommend standing on a little step stool, getting an overhead view just to be sure. It's more of an overhead view for you guys because we have an overview camera now. Or we have a mount for the iPad is what I should say. Okay. I think we're pretty good. You can always choose to print exact size, but I find that you sometimes, even when you print exact size, you end up with like a weird edge where you were off by this fraction of an amount. So I really prefer to always print a nice, good bleed edge just to make sure. And that just sometimes means taking a little extra second or so to make sure that we are lined up. All right, you're also gonna wanna put a piece of blow up paper on top because this ink that's around the edge, the ink that's coming through the middle, that can gas up. So your transfer, not mirrored, on the bottom, facing up, your substrate, white side, facing down. Put our blow up paper on top. And we've got 120 seconds, medium pressure. Clocks are a really fun item to sell, and they are available in MDF as well as glass. I personally like the glass ones because I think that they have a higher sale point and they only cost a few dollars more. I purchased these from a place called Sublimate in Texas. I did order them online. Shipping was fast. They came well packed. I ordered 2 of them. And I am definitely happy. It's my first time ordering from them, so be sure to check them out. They do have some other sublimation blanks available as well, but the main thing I was after was glass clocks, and it turns out not that many places actually carry them. So I have linked that below in the video description for you as well. I like glass in general when it comes to sublimation because it just prints so stunning all of the time. It's such a high quality product, and not only is it great for doing something personal like this, which is the avenue I recommend targeting if you're looking to market these, is something that's like commemorative photos like dance or graduations or even weddings or 50-year anniversaries. Those are all really great markets for something like this. But if you are someone or know someone who does professional photography, especially nature photography, this is also a great product to make and sell. Now you want to make sure you got 2 heat gloves ready to go, and I strongly encourage some type of silicone mat to put your clock on while it cools. Now I'm just using 2 of these from Walmart. You can see them over here in the corner. I really like these for this. You want to make sure you have this because you do not want to lift the clock while it is cooling. Very, very important. If you do that, you can transfer your ink, and that's not what you want to do. So we're just about ready to open up blue. All right, so there we have our clock. It's going to be pretty hot, so let's just pull it off. Whoop. All right, we got to let it cool. It is going to take probably about 10-15 minutes. I noticed that glass does take a hot minute to fully cool, so we'll give that a minute to cool, and then I will show you how to compose it, compile it, put your pieces on, your time clock pieces on. If you are planning on shipping this, I highly recommend just leaving the mechanism off of it so that you don't have to risk it getting bent in shipment. However, if you're not, or if you don't want to leave it off, then you can just assemble it. It's very easy. If you assemble it and plan on shipping it, I would put like a small piece of styrofoam underneath the little arms, the hands. Okay, so what you're gonna do is we're gonna pull off this little rubber black part first, because we need this washer and this nut that's on the inside. Don't lose them. Okay, we're gonna put this guy back on because this is how we hang it, and we want it to go this way. Then you're gonna put the rubber piece back on. Then your clock, making sure that you're at the 12. Pretty sure this is the one that I wanted as a 12. I didn't put numbers on this because I thought it looked better aesthetically. I'm regretting that right now, but I decided on this one as the 12 because I liked these vertical for the 3 and the 9. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we've got it centered on the back. Kind of hold it there for a second. Then you're gonna put your washer. Let's look what it says. Yep, it says washer, wing nut, not the greatest project with long nails, just for the record. All right, I'm just double checking to make sure that my hook for hanging is lined up with that 12 o'clock picture. Make sure that's nice and tight. And then do your hour hand. Push it on down. Your minute hand. Push it on down. And then your second hand goes into the little middle spot. Okay. And then you can put batteries in it if you want, or set it. I believe right now we're at 5:22, and we'll put the second hand up there. So just make sure, there we go, everything is pressed down accordingly. Set your clock and you are ready to go. So again, if you were gonna ship this, I would put a piece of styrofoam under here. Good reason to save styrofoam from packages, or underneath here. Honestly, I do think it's a much safer bet to just leave the mechanism off. It comes with a little diagram. It's not like your customer can't figure that out. So go ahead and keep that all together, and it is ready for shipping. You can put it right back in that original box if you leave the mechanism off of it. So there you have it. There is your glass segmented sublimation photo clock. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.